Hello, my name is Sirkka Möller and I'm a member of the selection committee of the Panorama section of Berlin International Film Festival. And now I'm very happy to be speaking to the directors of Dreaming Walls, Amélie van Elmbt and Maya Duverdier. Welcome and nice to see you.
Yeah, nice to see you too.
Yeah,
Hi.
nice to meet you.
Amélie and Maya, could you please give a brief introduction to your film?
Yeah, it's an adventure that started 4 years ago, actually, when Amélie and I were working along the 23rd Street in New York, and we discovered the Chelsea Hotel that we had heard about in a book of Patti Smith's Just Kids that I offered to Amélie. And then we just
saw the building.
Yeah, recognized the building and decided to enter. Mm-hmm. We can say that where it all started.
Yeah, we knew about the place, of course, because it's such a medical place that we knew that this place was in this street, but it was completely hidden by scaffoldings. So we were really like wondering what's going on with this place. And then we entered and met our main character, Mel, that really got friendly almost directly with us. And she invited us into a room and she explained us about the strange situation of the hotel being transformed into a luxury place, and them, all the residents still being there, creating amongst the jackhammer next door. And so we were like, wow, there is something interesting to capture there in this very moment of the life of the hotel. And we started, both of us, to film with a 16mm camera, slowly, little by little, and we encounter all of those characters that you will see in the film. And yeah, this is all how it started, actually.
Okay, maybe we should actually start with the first clip so that the viewers can get to know Meryl as well and see how massive actually the work is that's happening in the Chelsea Hotel. So let's take a look at that.
How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. How's everything?
You like working here?
Yeah, of course.
What do you like about it?
There's a lot of history in this building.
Uh-huh.
And there's a lot of ghosts going on around here.
Did you feel anything?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, some ghosts, they just die in here. You know what I mean? They just here. Some ghosts, they really lost.
They're lost.
They
yeah.
lost. They trying to find a way out, but they can't find it because at the time there was some ghosts in here that was killed. Some of them took their life. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an architect. You know what I mean?
Ah.
That's my dream, but
Never know.
right?
You still got a whole life ahead of you.
Yeah, I like to read a lot about Da Vinci. I think Da Vinci was
Fabulous.
he was not in his planet. I think Da Vinci minds is coming from different planet. You know what I mean? His mind, it was too...
Very quick.
Yeah.
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 Well, art takes you out anyways.
Of course. Art puts you where you want to be.
So the dances I did was kind of a lot of artistic kind of thing.
When we gonna dance?
We can do it.
But I dance different.
Well, I've done that also.
Yeah?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, mambo Italian, go. Yeah, mambo Italian, go. So I see you soon, miss.
You shall.
No, beautiful lady.
You come to the, okay.
All right.
So we got an introduction to Meryl, who is actually in your film drifting gently through the hotel, a bit like the ghosts that you're evoking. And I was wondering, how did you get access and gain the trust? Because there have been a lot of films about the Chelsea Hotel, and it's the kind of, one of the most referenced pop culture locations probably in New York. So I would guess that a lot, they've seen it all, and it's like, why, how did you manage to get that access?
Yeah, so yes, as I said, we really entered just the two of us with a small Bolex camera, and we met Meryl. And little by little, she introduced us to other residents, and they saw that we were always coming back and staying there. We never knock on any doors to meet people. We really just stay in the place, meet people when they wanted to talk with us, and we always respected them, and we were very caring with them, always respecting their story, who they were, and we were not interested at all in to show the glamour of the Chelsea. We just wanted to know about their lives, their art, you know, and how they could live in this situation. And I think everybody started to talk to each other like, there is those two young girls, they are very nice, I trust them. And then, you know, they started all to be very friendly with us. And because coming back always and staying in touch, even when we were back in Europe, and constantly, you know, being with them, talking with them.
For how long were you shooting? I mean, how long was the period you were there and were present? Because the works in the film, it seems endless, and from what I researched, it still hasn't ended.
Yeah, that's what we discovered at the end, that it was never ending. But we can say that we filmed for, let's say, 2 years, coming back and forth and staying like 2 weeks each time. And we came like 6 or 8 times.
Yeah. 2 years within a crew, with the crew. With the crew. Before we were like, it's 3 years in total with the location and everything, the sculpting location.
And had you done films together before? Because it's quite an adventure from what I saw from your filmographies. Amélie, you were mostly working in fiction before, and to make an observational documentary is a very different way of working, because it's not, you can't plan that much ahead. You have to really see what's happening and what's coming along. Maybe you could tell a bit how your cooperation evolved in that project.
Yeah, of course. Actually, it really started because we are really good friends, Maya and I, for 10 years, and she worked on my previous long feature film, not as a director or author, but she was there during the set, the shooting and everything, so we were close, and she came to New York with me when my previous film was screened in Tribeca, and I discovered the place with her, so it was like, oh, why don't we just, we didn't even know that it will start to be a film like it is now. We didn't have this we never had a plan to make a film like that. It was just like
really spontaneous and
very and then when we realized that there were really the material to make a film and to really continue a film, to really build the financial aspect and everything, we decided to continue working together and to really manage the film. But the perspective we had on the film, of course, I come from fiction, but I do resist a bit of this separation of documentary and fiction, because in my work, all the film I made, my previous one the same, I always observe the situation. I always shoot chronologically. I never anticipate. I never really work in a frame of fiction where the actor had to be ready before starting the scene, and then we jump to another scene. So I'm very careful of what is there and how the people act together, and I do improvise. So I was not really lost. And I have to say that Maya, that comes really from documentary, she studied documentary in Lausanne. She had already this very beautiful gaze that I really love with the people she filmed. And it was really like a discussion always. I was always wanting to, I always saw everything in, okay, we should do this like that, and, maybe use this kind of light or this lens. And Maya was like, yeah, but maybe, it was very, very nice. It was a good combination at the end in between our cinema direct.
Our sensibilities that are kind of complementary in such a place.
Yeah,
the place was really good for us because it has potential of fiction, of course, but it's also really strong, real characters
in daily life.
So the mix was kind of perfect for us.
Yeah, maybe we should take a look at the second clip, because you just mentioned Maya, real characters, and we're now about to see probably the most fashionable trousers anybody on the Berlinale screens is going to wear. That's at least my opinion. So let's take a look at the second clip, please.
I'm Steve Willis. I've lived in the Hotel Chelsea since 1994. Stanley always had stars in his eyes when it came to celebrities in the building. And because I was associated with bringing Mariah Carey in here, I think he attached a little stardust to me and asked if I wanted to have an apartment. We landed on this apartment. At the time, it was a 1-bedroom. Currently, it's a studio apartment. That happened recently. I don't know what you want to call it, but since all the changes started and Stanley was, taken from his position, ousted. We've had lawyers. It's been a court battle. Like for a long time, I felt like I was witnessing a slow motion rape of this building. Like something brutal like a rape that is upsetting. Now I'm like, yeah, you raped her. I'm not watching it anymore. I'm not participating. I'll show up in court and say I saw it happen, but that's it. The last straw was giving up a big chunk of my apartment here, Janis Joplin's suite, 411. I gave up the bedroom, the bathroom, and the kitchen and the entry hall.
So, as we can see from that clip, there is not just poetic time traveling of Merle in your film, but there is also a real conflict at the heart of it, and that conflict is probably what we see in many cities. The whole question of gentrification, change. Should things always stay the same or not? Should they become different? Do they have to? What's happening? So, in what way were you able not to be drawn into some of the conflicts? Because in the film, it is very clear to me, at least 2 different factions that are the ones that say, oh, it's good that it gets renovated, it was getting really run down, and then there is the others who say, ooh, it's it's like our wonderful world is changing beyond recognition.
Yeah, it was very difficult because we also had difficulties to understand the situation because nobody was telling the same story. So by coming back, we started to build our knowledge about the place and we started to understand, but there were so many owners, so many battles that we immediately decided not to take any sides and just to let everybody express his truth about the place and his own experience. And of course, everything you said about the gentrification is very important for us. But again, we didn't want it to make a political movie. At the end, we wanted to just stay, truth to everybody, to not put somebody in a bad situation within the film because we tried to really give an opinion that would be the opinion. So yeah, we really let them express and tell their stories about their Chelsea, let's say.
Okay, so have they seen the film? Are they happy with how they're portrayed?
It's funny you ask because we just had a screening with them. We organized before Berlin because they can't come all. Sad, but it's the reality. So they saw it on I think Monday night. Yes, and the feedback was super nice, and we were very moved and even sad not to be there to hug them and because
they all managed to come, and it's not always easy for some of them that are in wheelchairs now, or So it was super moving to see their faces in the cinema. Theater.
And also the thing is that they didn't know how much work we did with the archival material. So for most of them, they didn't know we had found those pictures, those images of them earlier, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and they didn't know how we used them to show their work. For example, with Mel, where we really show the big work she did in the hotel. And I think it was also very moving for them to witness, to get back in time as well within the film. So yes, it was we are very happy that they all like the film and they will support us. And so though we were right, we never, for us, the contract is between, the confidence and the trust is there until the end. And it's so important as a filmmaker to be in a good relationship with the person you film, you know, and to stay true to them also.
But this is like a nice closing words and also a message to the audience that, you know, go and see the film, come to Berlinale or catch it later somewhere else. And I really hope to see you and also our audience in a cinema when we next meet. So thank you very much, and until Berlinale.
Yes.
Yes, see you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.